Well, welcome, everyone. This is Josh Brown from DoDeals.com, and thank you for joining me here today. Our special guest is Mr. Peter Conti, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for him, in large part because he doesn't just teach this business. He does this business, but his primary focus is on doing deals. Today we're here to talk about flipping commercial, and I'm very excited about this, as you can probably tell from all those messages you got from us, right? Because I've primarily been involved with virtual investing in single-family houses throughout my career. I've not done a whole lot of flipping commercials, so this is something that is brand new to me, and I'm excited to be sharing it with you. Today I'm going to be learning right alongside you, so we're both going to be taking notes feverishly. Now, if you haven't done so already, grab a pen and a pad of paper, because you're going to want to be taking great notes here today. Peter's really going to let us look under the tent, so make sure to turn off your TV, close out your other browsers you have open, and turn off your email. That is key. You need to devote 100% of your attention to this and have no other distractions. Give Peter your undivided attention for the next hour or so, and I am certain it'll be well worth your time. So let's get serious and let's really learn about this. In our discussions prior to getting on live now, Peter told me that he plans to cover some of the things that have changed in the commercial real estate industry that have made the business, get this, even more doable and the opportunity even more beyond belief. So we're ready to tear into this, and I'm not going to steal any of his thunder, but let me tell you just a tiny bit more about Peter. He's been in the real estate business since 1990, so way longer than me, okay? But he came out of a regular job as an auto mechanic, and he saw the light, jumped into the business, and within 3.5 years, he made a millionaire of himself. 3.5 years, guys, and he's never looked back. He's always been a guy that's focused on commercials, so it certainly is his niche and his expertise. And he's also a published author, so a very well-known guy with a ton of credibility. So let's go ahead and get rolling here, and please help me give a warm Do Deals welcome to my friend and expert, Mr. Peter Conti. Peter, you there?
Hello, Josh.
Awesome.
It's great to be here with you today. And Tim, I don't know if he's going to poke his head in the line here later. I told my partner Jerry that he's actually out looking at a property, but if he could stick in here, I'm not sure what he's doing, out there this time of day, but he may check in also. But it's great to be here, and for all of you on the line who joined us here today, it's so much fun to be in an industry, Josh, and for all of you on the line, if you're just getting started, if you've been investing for a while, I'm sure you feel the same way that Tim, Josh, and I do, that, my goodness, things are always changing. And we're going to talk about some of that change here today, but that's one of the things that makes real estate so interesting and so much fun. In my 20-some years investing, there's always new deals and ways to look at things, and I just love that.
Fantastic.
So we're going to talk about the insider secrets to flipping commercial real estate. And I've got a couple of big promises for you. This is today's checklist, and I use a checklist every day, and I focus on the most important things to do. And, gosh, hold on one second here. I just got a text. Hold on, I just need to adjust my sound one moment. So the most important thing we're going to do within the next hour or so is we're going to show you how to flip commercial properties and make $75,000 or more without needing to own or manage any real estate ever. Now, I own a lot of real estate. I know a lot of you on the call own real estate. This isn't the end-all and be-all. But this is an opportunity today for you to learn how to flip commercial properties using our money. And I can give you more information on that later. What I'm going to show you as much as I can in the time we have here together on this webinar. So I am going to be going very quickly here, Josh. I'm glad you suggested getting a notepad to take notes on.
Sure.
We're going to go through quite a bit of information. Please don't expect a big pitch or a course or something to buy. If you're interested and as excited as I am about the things I'm going to be sharing with you, then stick around afterwards and be happy to share with you some of the opportunities out there with you if you'd like to go out and do some deals flipping commercial property using our money. But what we're going to focus on is what's changed. What's different in the marketplace so that you can become aware of the opportunities to make money flipping properties, and hopefully, as I mentioned, you'll get excited enough to say, hey, I'm going to go out and do some of that. Oh, shoot, I've got to adjust my audio again here one sec. Hold on. So who can do this? Well, who can flip commercial properties? I know if you've just done houses before, and the idea of even just owning a commercial property may be intimidating, I'm going to share with you here today how even if you haven't done deals before, you really can do this. It doesn't matter where you are. I know that there's a lot of people, I know some of them had, a lot of money. They didn't have their investing strategy down, and now they're coming back. So no money, no credit, not a problem at all when you use the methods and strategies that Jerry and I are going to be sharing with you here today. Speaking of which, is that you, Jerry?
Yeah. Hey, Peter. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I know that you're tied up today, but thanks for calling in just to say hi to everybody on the webinar here.
Are you having too much fun without me?
Well, we're kind of just getting rolling here, so this was perfect. I just wanted to introduce you to everyone, and everyone, this is my partner, Jerry.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm down here checking out this deal. It's pretty good. Good stuff.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jerry. If you get a chance later on, hop back in, but we're going to go through a bunch of stuff here and keep us on time. So thanks for stopping by.
Alrighty, I'll talk to you soon.
Let me just say, if you're someone who's looked at things without really getting started and you're waiting maybe for just the right time or opportunity, this is definitely something you want to take a close look at. Or if you've gotten started and for some reason you've gotten stuck, and one of the biggest reasons I've seen people get stuck is, hey, the market's changed. They were using a particular method or technique, it was going well, they were making money, and then the market changed, and now they don't know quite what to do. So my message here is really very simple. If I can make it starting out like this guy right here as an auto mechanic and succeed at real estate, you most certainly can too. I want you to know there's nothing at all special about me other than I think I had a strong desire, and I think I was willing to look to see. I mean, I always had the theory, and maybe this came from being a mechanic or something, but when you're a mechanic and you didn't know what to do, you just go and find someone that had done it before and have them show you. Where you'd look for a source of information, a manual or something to find the directions on how to do it step by step. And I believe that real estate's the same way. You combine that desire with a willingness to have someone show you who's done it before, there's really no limit whatsoever on what you can do. So why do people want commercial real estate? Well, what is it about commercial real estate that makes it valuable? Well, first off, commercial real estate's a necessary asset for any society. As we go around shopping and go to theaters and schools, all the different commercial properties out there are obviously a necessary asset. No matter what's going on with the economy, we need commercial real estate. Now, commercial real estate has value for a number of reasons, one of which is business owners, they have their businesses in commercial real estate. Without that commercial real estate, they couldn't earn a profit. And that's why they're willing to pay rents, which generates the income for commercial real estate. As we get into some of the case studies, you're going to see where, from a business owner's perspective, sometimes a piece of commercial real estate has even more value for the business owner than it does for anyone else. Obviously, investors like commercial real estate because they want two things. They want good returns, and they want a piece of property that gives them a nice long-term passive wealth over time. Now, one of the nice things about that is when you have that passive wealth coming in, you don't have to go out and babysit the property every day. Lenders, they like commercial real estate not because they want to own it, but lenders like commercial real estate because it's made, at least in the past, good collateral for the loans that they give people. Investors that want to put money into commercial real estate. So we're going to be looking at things from a couple different viewpoints, not just from us as the facilitators of putting these commercial flip deals together, but from the people who use commercial real estate, people who lend, and people who put up the money for commercial real estate deals. Sometimes the value of that commercial asset will be different depending on what hat you're wearing. So as far as how commercial property is valued, we're not going to spend much time on this at all. In fact, this is the only slide that I'm going to go through on this. Now, I know that we've got a variety of people here on the call today, and I'm guessing that a bunch of you already know how to value commercial property. Some of you may be getting introduced to commercial property, and that's okay. Don't worry about it. I'm actually going to be giving those of you who decide to get serious about this one of my courses that shows you in detail how to do all this so you can really get this down. But here's the big picture. Commercial property is valued by taking all of the income coming in. That's generally all the rents, and there's a variety of ways to get income. So all the income, less any vacancies, less the cost of any expenses, and that gives us a number that you'll hear referred to as NOI. Now that stands for net operating income, and this is a very big picture perspective. It's not entirely accurate from a scientific or a mathematical perspective, but for us to wrap our hands around how commercial property is valued, if you think of taking that net operating income and multiplying it by a value of 10, so that every dollar extra that a commercial property brings in makes it worth $10 more, and every dollar less that a commercial property brings in makes it worth $10 less in the marketplace. Now, that's the big picture, and it will vary depending on the market, the location, and a number of different things, but that gives you an idea why the value of a commercial property can change at times. If the commercial tenants are paying less than they used to a few years ago, or if there's a greater vacancy, or if the expenses go up, that can all drive the value down. Likewise, the opposite is true. If the income is up, or if you can reduce the vacancy or reduce the expenses, then you can quickly drive the value of the property up. Here's an example of exactly that. This is one of my students. His name is Steve Brown. And what he did was he got a 100,000 square foot building with 10 stories, about 10,000 square feet each level, and he got this under contract. Then he did something very smart. Excuse me. While he had it under contract and while he still had the ability to get out under an escape clause, he went out and he signed the property with a tenant for the property. He wanted to lease almost the entire building. Now, what that did was that increased the value of the property from $100,000 up to $500,000. And what that enabled Steve to do is turn around and sell his contract. It's called flipping your contract. Now, that's just one way of flipping commercial properties. It's not necessarily the best way, but it's an easy and simple method to make money flipping commercial properties. The nice thing about that is you don't need any of your own money necessarily. Now, you might need something for an earnest deposit. In this case, he gave him about $10,000 up front as an earnest deposit so that he knew they were serious, and you don't have to take any risk. And that's my goal right here today, to show you other ways like this, to where you can get into a commercial deal even if you've never owned commercial property before, and you can end up flipping that property without taking on risks, without having to put your own money into the deal. So Steve illustrated a good principle there, and that if you can get control of a property and then you can do something to change its value, then you can make some quick money right away. In Steve's case, he made $400,000 and he never had to own or manage the property. Now, this relates to the first principle I want to share with you. Principle number one, understanding property value. Understanding the value of commercial property. And I want you to know this doesn't have to apply to big, huge properties. This is a little 4-unit property. One of my students, his name was Byron, he got this under contract. Now, of course, he had his escape clause, so he could get out if he wanted to. And the reason he got into this is because he knew how to value this property using some simple formulas that you're going to learn. He was able to turn around and immediately flip this to another investor before he closed on it. And he made a quick $15,000 on the property doing that. So I mean, we're going to go through some pretty big deals here. I don't want you to look at some of those big deals and start to think, oh, I could never do a big, huge deal like that. The ideas I'm sharing with you here work for small properties, and they work for big properties. The most important thing is you need to understand how to value properties so that when you see a great deal, you can get it immediately under contract. Now, some of you may have heard about some changes in the commercial marketplace. And, you know, as some of you may know, 3 to 5 years ago, getting a commercial loan wasn't a hard thing to do. Now, you couldn't get it for a lousy property that was vacant, but if you had a decent property in a decent area 3 to 5 years ago, you could generally buy that property and get in with down payments as little as 5 or 10% and get into a commercial property. Now, how has that changed? Well, some people will say, Peter and Jerry, there's no commercial funding. Well, there is. For good properties in good areas, commercial lenders are still lending, but they've changed their formula. They're not going to do a 10% down loan. They're going to do a 40% down loan. And they require a larger down payment because of some of the changes in the commercial marketplace. Now, lenders, I know it's crazy. They go from a position where they're almost over-lending, giving you too much money, to when the market changes and we go through these cycles. Now, I've seen it happen a few times in my 20-plus years of investing. They go where they almost go, too far over the other way, where they change their criteria to where it seems super difficult to get a loan. Now, one of the other interesting things about commercial loans is that commercial loans are not written like residential loans. Most residential loans for houses will go with a 25 or a 30-year time period, and I know that's not true for all of them. There's adjustable rates and some with calls before that, but commercial loans, the biggest difference between commercial and residential loans is that almost all commercial loans are written with a very short fuse. Generally, a commercial loan is going to go for about 5 years at the most before that loan comes due. So if we look at some of those changes in the commercial marketplace, this leads us to principle number 2, where the value of that property has gone down. It's got that change, and you're going to see this just a bit when I get to the slide where the lender's in a little bit of a sticky situation. But it helps us to make money from this principle number 2. I want you to write this down. Change is good. Principle number 2 is change is good. Now, here's an example of that. That property that was bought 3 to 5 years ago, where the loan was, up at that yellow line. Now, the property, let's keep it simple and say it was an interest-only loan. In this case, the property now needs a new loan for the amount at that same yellow line. Now, nothing's changed. The property value is the same, but under the new rules, the owner can only get a loan this big, where the green line is. So in some cases, the value's gone down a bit, which makes the problem even worse. So the challenge is, how the heck does the owner get into a new loan when the lender is only willing to lend up to the green line here that's about 60% loan to value? The loan amount's more than that. I mean, how do you solve that problem? Well, this is very interesting because in the investing arena, obviously, those of you who've been out doing tons of deals, you see things change and then you have to kind of adapt. So the interesting thing is if you're investing in commercial like I do, I mean, we go out, we look at hundreds of properties and we make lots of offers. And we've gotten into deals where we say, here's what we'll pay you. And that's quite a bit less than what's owed against the property. And, what's interesting is these notes come due. We've been waiting for the lenders to call the loans due, and that generally hasn't happened. Now, it's happened in a few cases, but generally over the past few years, lenders have been waiting and pushing the problem down the line. Some people call it kicking the can down the road, until they get to a point where they really decide to do something about it. Now, just now in the marketplace, we're starting to see where they're willing to finally do something about it. The net effect is that lenders are willing to allow these properties to go for way below what they're worth just to get them off their books. And we'll get into that in just a little bit here. But it's been very, very interesting to kind of be sitting here, saying, okay, we know that something's going to happen. When the heck is it going to happen? How are they going to solve this problem? Now, not all the properties that you run across out there are going to be underwater like this. For example, this is a 10-unit property that one of my students, his name was Gordon McLean, and what he did is he used a different technique. This was a master lease. Now, the reason he could do this is that this property was, first off, it was free and clear. It was part of an estate. The person who had inherited this property lived out of state. They didn't really know how to manage property. They only had 2 or 3 of the units rented, and they're just doing a lousy job with it. Now, in today's marketplace, even with a free and clear property like this, if it's poorly run like this, you can't get commercial financing. It's just not available in a situation like this when the property's not leased up. A commercial lender isn't going to come in and lend on this. So what Gordon did is he put a master lease in place, and then he went in and quickly filled up the property. He did the right things, turning around the management on the property, actually increased the value of the property by $250,000, and it took him about 3 or 4 months to do that. Now, I want you to know that's not what I would call a commercial flip, although some people might say, hey, if you can get into a property and not use any of your own money up front, end up increasing the value of the property by $250,000 in less than half a year, hey, that's good enough for me. Well, you're going to learn how to do that as well. I just want to mention that the upside-down commercial properties where we can do these flips I'm talking about, they aren't the only type of commercial property out there in the marketplace. Now, here's a case study. This is a 47-unit apartment building, and this was one that was purchased a number of years ago, and the loan amount on the property, look here, was $1.4 million. Now, the lender on this property has been wondering what to do with this because, look here, here's the value of the property today, $950,000. So this property is actually well managed, and it's mostly occupied, at times even close to 100% occupied. And I ran the numbers on it myself, and I tend to be very conservative, and I came up with that value of $950,000 for this property. So this property is typical with a number of them that we've seen out there in the marketplace. The loan is more than the current value. The lender's in a situation like this where they may or may not be getting the payments depending on what's going on with the owner. And at some point in time, commercial properties like this are ticking, I don't want to say time bomb because it's not going to blow up, but it's certainly a situation where something's going to happen. It can't just keep going on like this without something happening. And here's the something that happened. This property, the lender sold it to us for $400,000. Now, why in the world would a lender sell a property for, that they're owed $1.4 million on? Why would they let it go for $400,000? Well, that's the biggest question a lot of people have. Why would a lender do that? Well, a few reasons for that. First off, the property value, yes, it's worth $950,000 now when it's occupied and well managed. But if this property goes through foreclosure, guess what? The value is going to be a lot less. When the lender got it back, it would not be at 95%. It would probably be vacant and need a bunch of repairs. And who knows what the value would be. That's really the number one reason why commercial lenders are willing to dump properties for much less than what they're worth. They don't want to be owning properties. They want to be lending on properties. Number two, the loan on this building was actually sold 3 times as part of a package where, I'm not if you're aware of this, but lenders, they package up loans and sell them from one lender to the next. And when they do that, typically the loans in that package are discounted. So even though the loan amount was at 1.4, the lender's amount of money they had in it was much less than that. The third reason is that decisions are made by lenders based upon things that happen in their boardrooms that relate to their fiscal year and other things where they're looking at the what's going on and the requirements that they need to do to meet certain federal guidelines as far as cash on hand. And actually, when they have a commercial property where it goes into default, they're required to keep a whole bunch more cash on hand. So when they sell a property like this, it reduces the amount of cash 2 ways. Number one, there's one less asset on their books, so they don't need to have all the reserves for that asset. Number two, when they do get, in this example, the $400,000 cash, that goes into the cash they have on hand. It helps them to meet their numbers, particularly if they're under a crunch maybe for a reporting period or the end of their fiscal year. The last reason I'll share with you is that due to the commercial bailout, that's where your money and my money, our tax money, too bad it wasn't put in writing, but we bailed out the lenders and we kind of assumed they'd be loaning. And that hasn't happened. What that's done is it's put some of these lenders where they're actually, pretty good. They're very profitable now and they're looking at, okay, let's look at some of these troubled assets. Let's get these things off our books while we're going strong. So here's what you can do with this. This is really so cool. What we did is we took this property and we sold it back to the existing property. And I know that sounds crazy. The first time I heard about it, I was like, what? That's got to be a fluke. There's no way that they could be doing that. Well, I'm here to tell you that these backflip deals are happening. Now, this offer of $400,000 was all cash. That's what helped to get it accepted. It was set to close in 20 or 30 days. And, you're going to find that in this marketplace, we've had deals with offers higher than ours, but because ours was the only all-cash offer, we got the offer accepted. And so what I found is that when you're out there stealing commercial property like this, actually when you're buying commercial property at such low rates, you can do exactly what we did. You can take properties like this and flip it the same day. Now, there is a catch to that. I'll share with you what it is. Yes, we turned around and sold it for $512,000 the same day. Now, that $112,000 profit, that sounds great. Gosh, that's great, Peter, if you're putting up your money to close the deal, but then you get your money back right at the closing, then that's a no-brainer for you, Peter and Jerry. Well, it's not quite that simple. Yes, we put the money up, but there's a time period where what we're doing is we're bridging the gap between when we bring in the $400,000 cash and then we sell it back to the existing owner and carry the payments for about 6 to 8 months. to where that owner can then qualify for new refinancing at that point in time. Now, I don't know what it is about the lenders. They won't come in and fund one of these. They won't fund the $400,000 right up front. You've got to bring in cash. That's the niche in the marketplace that we're tapping into. So what we do is we work to facilitate these deals and put all the pieces in place, and it's kind of fun. You know, when we do them, we're providing access to our funding sources. I can tell you more about that later to put these together. So if you get excited about this as much as I am and decide to go out and flip some commercial properties with us, you'll be able to make money like this the same way. Now, that $112,000, depending on the deal, you can get some money up front. There's some payment money that you can get along the way, and then you get a big chunk of money when the refi comes in, generally at the end of 6 to 8 months is kind of how that works out. Now, okay. So each deal, I want you to know, is different. Some deals, I mean, we're looking at a deal right now where all the money's made on the back end, and we don't do too many of those, but you know, what you're doing is your ability to create value in the marketplace. That's really created because you're coming in and you have the ability to make all these all-cash offers. So if you haven't heard of Peter Conti, that's me before, or read some of my books or something, just so you know my background, who is this guy, Peter Conti? Yes, I did start out as an auto mechanic. This is a shop that I actually worked in right there. That's my dog Snickers, who's, if you heard him, he just wanted to say hello to you. And I started out buying, you know, little houses. This is a little 4-unit that I got into. This is another little commercial property. Basically got into other commercial properties. This is a shopping center here that I actually own with a few students of mine down in El Paso, Texas. And this one here is a 322-unit apartment building deal I did with one of my students. And let's see, here's a 206-unit apartment building property. So I really like getting into properties, and over the years, I've learned that you can get into the right property, and if you know what you're doing, you can make a lot of money. And most of the money that I've made in the past has required quite a bit of leasing up and fixing up, and that's why I'm so excited about commercial flips, because you can go in right away and create some money quickly. Now, this here, if I can pull it up, this is Jerry Norton. Jerry's my partner. Jerry first became famous by being kind of a fix and flip guru with houses. Here's an example of kind of a house, a before and after picture. Here's another one. He's kind of famous to where he's working the distressed market. And he goes in and through being able to analyze properties and pick the right deals, take something that's a plain property that's not selling on the marketplace and turn it around to something that gets sold right away, is how Jerry originally started out. And then here's what happened. Jerry got into a commercial flip sort of, I don't know, by accident. He figured he was flipping houses, so he thought, what the heck, I'm going to try and flip some commercial property. And this one right here was 7,200 square feet commercial property. It had a mortgage on it for $1.4 million. Jerry went in with an all-cash offer, and he got an offer accepted under contract to buy this for $285,000. Then what he did is he turned around and he just signed the contract to another buyer, and it actually was the guy that owned the building right behind us. I don't know if you can see the building back behind there. He just went over there and talked to him and said, hey, I've got the property next door. Do you want to buy this? With no time, no money, and no effort, he did a quick flip on this thing and made $65,000. And that's kind of where it started. He started doing those, and then the attorney at that closing saw that he was doing this and said, hey, I've got some other deals you want to take a look at. And that's when Jerry started getting into these backflips that I'm telling you about. And, of course, I was in touch with Jerry, and I started hearing about it. And I said, hey, this is something that I've never seen in my 20 years of investing. We've got to jump on this while the going's good. So here's another example. This is Lyndon Armand. Now, there are a couple of my commercial mentoring students. They made money using more of a traditional method, and that's okay, too. They got this 80 units here in Durant, Oklahoma. They had a single-family home that was a rental. Now, it made them about $7,000 a year, and I showed them how to get the equity out of that house to create $84,000 a year with this apartment building by doing some simple things. One of them was doing a nuisance raise. Now, they raised the rents by $15, And they did it just using one of the forms in my course that I'm going to be giving you. Here's what it looks like. You just fill in the information on this page here and then stick it on everyone's door. It's called a nuisance raise because it's enough to annoy the tenants, but not so much they're going to move out. And the fun thing about that is that over 80 units, that net operating income, it ended up increasing that net operating income by $14,400 a year. And when you use that 10 times factor, it ended up increasing the value of the property by $144,000 just by doing a simple little nuisance raise. The point I want to make here is that making money does not have to be complicated. Sometimes some of the simplest things that you can do can be the easiest ways to make money. Because of that, here's one of the trainings I'm going to give you. This is a self-study training. This is my how to buy apartment buildings with little or nothing down. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I just want to let you know that if you're going to be going after commercial properties and apartment buildings, then you really need to have something to use like this as a foundation. And, it goes through finding deals, how to determine value, deal structuring, hiring managers, the whole bit. I don't have enough time in our 60 minutes here to go over all that. I just want you to know that's what I'm going to be giving you. One of the things that you'll learn in there is this very, very valuable is this master lease strategy. Now, this was a 24-unit property that I picked up using that master lease strategy. I bought it with nothing down, which it's a creative technique to buy commercial properties with little or nothing down. And I won't go through all the details. You can go through the materials to see exactly how to structure it. I mean, you can see the exact agreements and what you say to the sellers to get them to agree to a deal like this. And I break it all out for you step by step. Big picture is this. If you haven't bought commercial properties before, besides flipping them, which is the focus of our call here today, getting out and using some of these other techniques is one of the fastest ways to get out and create some quick wealth. Now, this property, I picked it up. It was a nothing down deal. And then I turned around and 2 years ago sold it for a $987,000 profit. So sometimes you'll run across people who say, gosh, you're not one of those real estate investors, are you? Next, you're going to tell me that you can buy properties with nothing down. Well, you know what? This can be our little secret. I'll show you how to buy with nothing down, but you can do deals just like this. And then you can just smile and kind of ignore those people who have their own mindset. I mean, if they want to go and work a job for 40 or 50 years and let someone else determine what their time is worth, that's okay with me and you. I mean, we're going to go out and create our own pathway to wealth. It's a pathway that a lot of people start taking off. I mean, they get into single-family homes. I've seen a lot of my students move up into smaller apartment buildings, then office and retail, even shopping centers and other larger commercial properties. And I want to show you another pathway to wealth. Now, I'm not going to say don't do these other things, or if you're already doing those things, don't stop doing that. I just want to be able to show you a shortcut to go out and get some big fat bags of money together by flipping some commercial properties. Now, to make that happen just as quickly as possible, not only am I going to be giving you the How to Buy Your First Apartment Building course, but I'm also going to be giving you the Making Millions with Commercial Property course. Now, this focuses not on apartment buildings, but on all the other types of commercial property. Everything from office buildings, warehouses, mobile home parks, self-storage facilities, warehouses, industrial property, shopping centers, retail, all of that. This here is Kelly Thabros, and Kelly was one of my students, and I'm going to do everything I can here during our time together here to stress the fact that, yes, we're talking about commercial property. Yeah, I get that. We're talking about the chance to go out and make millions of dollars with a commercial property, but I don't want that to be intimidating. I know it was intimidating to Kelly. When she first got started, she had done a couple of houses. I think her husband and her had a duplex or two, and she was wondering if she could really go out and make money investing in commercial properties. And then Kelly, along with another couple of students of mine, I showed them how to structure some of these deals. They ended up getting a commercial property that they got under contract for $7.6 million. And they raised the money to do it. They got a combination of a loan and some investors' money. So their purchase price, just follow along with me. I hope you're taking notes here. Their total purchase price was $10 million. Now, the reasons for that varied. They had some carrying costs and other things they needed to cover. So it was a combination of 900 acres of vacant land and about 26 commercial buildings. And last I heard, Kelly had 2 offers in place to buy just the buildings for $19 million. Okay, so if you can follow along with the math on that, they bought it for 10, They had 2 offers for just the buildings, leaving them with 900 acres of free and clear land that's actually just east of the city of Denver, right in the path of progress. Now, that may not be your ticket to wealth, but if you like the idea of owning 900 acres of free and clear land and making $9 million on the way to getting that, then you need to at least explore the methods that other people are using on a regular basis to go out and make a bunch of money with commercial properties. This is the first property that I ever bought, and someone asked me the other day, they said, Peter, if you were to go back and do it all over again, what one thing would you do differently? And without a doubt, the thing I would do is I would go faster. I would buy more property, and I wouldn't wait so long to get the ball rolling. I mean, this is a duplex. I bought a duplex, I don't know. It was the first deal I came across that made sense. You want to guess how big the next property was? Go ahead, type in what you want to take a guess on it. How big was the next property that I bought? Well, some of you are saying really big numbers. That's okay. It should have been bigger. It was actually a 4-unit. I mean, I got my courage up and I thought, well, if I did 2, I know I can do 4, and 4 is not that much bigger than a 2. I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I did. I want you to get out there and flip commercial real estate right away, and I want you to be able to do it using our money. Now, that may sound a little crazy or even a little unbelievable to some of you on the call. One of the things that I realized just about a month ago was that we were doing some of these commercial flips, and I've tried to go back and look at the same principle that I shared with you about going faster. If it made sense for me to go faster back then it makes 100 times as much sense to go faster now, both for myself and for you right now. I realized that we could flip a lot more commercial properties by expanding Jerry and my reach to where you can work with us. We can show you how to find these deals, how to structure them, and how to put them in place. I mean, you have the ability to create the connections and uncover a deal that's right there in your marketplace that we don't have access to. What we do have access to is excess funds that we're not able to use. Plus, we can show you step by step, every step of the way, how to do these deals. Now, it makes a nice combination to do these deals and go out and put them together. Because of that, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be teaching a few people how to flip commercial real estate using our money. The way we're going to do that is Jerry and I, we're going to get together with you on going to be a members-only webinar. Now, it'll be just for the small group of people that I picked to come on board with us here today to go after flipping some commercial deals together. And what we'll do about once a week is we'll get together in a format like this where, we're together and you can watch going through the training and hear over the phone as we go through and explain step by step how to find these deals and put them into place. And, you're going to get this as it comes out. I want you to know it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be edited. Yes, you'll be able to submit your questions in as part of doing this so that you get all your questions answered as we go through it, but it's not going to be a perfect, polished training type of thing. It's going to show you the nitty-gritty nuts and bolts of how to flip commercial real estate with actual deals that we're doing. And when you get a deal under contract, then we'll be using your deal as an example for the other people who are in the group. Now, you may be asking yourself, okay, what's all this going to cost me? Well, the question you might want to ask yourself is not what it's going to cost you, but what would it cost you not to do something? I know that a lot of you are on this call for one big reason, and that big reason might be solved by flipping some commercial properties or owning more real estate. That's not your big reason. Your big reason is you've got something bigger, better, broader, or maybe you just want some security, some certainty in your life. Maybe you're in one of these industries where they're laying people off and you want to be able to call the shots in your life. So the bigger question really is, rather than what's it going to cost me, really should be what's it going to cost you not to jump on board to find a way to create some huge profits like this? What's it worth to be able to have a life? Now, obviously, these courses that I'm giving you, there's a lot of value in those. A lot of people over the years have paid $14.97 for my How to Buy Your First Apartment Building course. The Making Millions with Commercial Property, that's another $14.97 course. The Flipping Commercial Real Estate training that we're talking about, using our money, it's not available. You can't buy that. If I was to put a price on it, I don't know what the price would be. I mean, people would pay a lot of money for that, to learn how to flip properties and make a $40,000, $60,000, $70,000, $73,000 profit on one deal that we did recently. My elite students, I get $50,000 for taking on just one elite student. So I don't know what the price would be, but it would be a lot. So rather than selling that, what I'm going to do, if you're as excited as I am about going out and flipping commercial properties as I am, is I'm going to give you an opportunity to come in and you just make a $997 deposit. And that deposit's important for a couple of reasons. Number one, it lets me know that you're serious. It lets me know that you're going to show up to come to the training and you're going to be there and you're going to do the things that I tell you how to do as far as finding the deals and connecting with the right people so that we end up making some money together. Number two is a little bit of a screening process to keep someone, if they just want to kick the tires and they're not really serious about it, enough of a screening process to keep those people out of the way. I am going to require that you split the profits with us on at least your first deal on a 50-50 basis. Now, you can decide whether you want to do one deal or 100 deals with us. It's up to you. But if I'm going to show you step by step how to do it, and we're going to give you access to our money to use to buy the property and flip it, then it's more than fair that we agree to split the profits on at least our first deal on a 50-50 basis. Now, it gets even better than that, because the $997 deposit that you make, you know, that deposit you make just so we know you're serious and you're really going to follow through on this, not only does that give you access to the other courses and trainings that I'm going to be giving you, and access to the training where I'm going to be showing you how to flip commercial properties and use our money, but that deposit goes back to you. When we do our first deal, you get your $997 deposit back, and it ends up costing you absolutely nothing. Now, this obviously isn't something that I can do with everybody out there. Number one, we don't have the bandwidth. Between myself and Jerry, between the two of us, we don't have the bandwidth to work with hundreds of people, nor do we want to do that. We don't have the money resources to fund, hundreds and hundreds of deals. This is for the first 10 people only who are serious about this. It's a $997 deposit. We'll split the profits with you on a 50-50 basis. And yes, you will use our money to buy commercial properties. And we'll show you every step of the way how to do it. To make it even easier for you, there's a 90-day profit guarantee where you either get a commercial property flip deal within 90 days of getting started, or we'll continue to work with you and give you everything you need to get one or more commercial deals done with a profit of $50,000 or more, including access to our money sources, a whole ball of wax, and we'll give you access up to an entire 12 months at no additional charge. Plus, on top of that, and this is how strongly Jerry and I feel about this, as long as you work it, I mean, you can't sit back and do nothing, but as long as you submit at least 6 deals that meet the guidelines on the website, that's just one every other month, you'll either have a deal with at least $50,000 in profits by the end of the year, or I'll personally give you a prompt, courteous refund. That's how strongly we believe in that. On top of that, to make it even easier for you, and to give you a chance to come on board and really check this out, to find out yourself whether it's something that's a perfect fit for you or not, we'll give you 30 days, risk-free trial. Come on board. Start going through the training with us. Look through all the courses and the materials we're going to give you access to. You've got 30 days to go through that, and I know that during that time period, one of two things is going to happen. Most likely, you're going to realize that, hey, this is the real deal. These guys are not only doing everything they said they would, but there's much, much more than that available here. I'd be crazy not to be a part of this. Or if for some reason that you decide it's not a fit or something, not a problem at all. We'll give you a prompt, courteous refund of your $997 deposit back, and no hard feelings. I mean, after all, if it's not a good fit for us to be working together, then we'd much rather find that out right up front, rather than take the time and invest and get into a deal and find out that for some reason it's not a fit. I know that by doing this, yes, I'm taking all the risks on our shoulders. Yeah, Peter and Jerry are taking the risk. And some people might say that well, gosh, Peter, someone might take unfair advantage of you. There might be a few people out there like that. I don't think so. My belief is that people are straightforward and honest, and that they all want to do the right thing. I want to make it very easy for you to do the right thing here, which is to take the step to come on board with us so that you can get into a position to be able to really live the life of your dreams. You can be in a position to be able to take care of your family the way that you want to do that. To order, you just go to dodeals.com/Peter. It's real simple, www.dodeals.com/Peter. Or you can call this phone number, 800-952-9585. And I'm also going to give you, as a free bonus, if you're one of the 10 to come on board with this, and this is just for those 10, please don't call Tim and Josh's office or try to get a hold of us later and say, oh, hey, that thing you did 2 weeks ago, I decided I finally want to do that. This is obviously going to fill up here today. And as part of that team of 10 that I'm putting together, I want you to have every bit of support that I can possibly give you. So I'm going to give you access to 90 days of free commercial mentoring. Now, my commercial mentoring program, people pay $9,800 to get into this. And tons of people have, like Tim here. Tim got on the conference calls. He got on the discussion board. And he did 2 deals, one of which is now bringing him over $14,000 a month in passive cash flow every month. And another one that brings him $16,600 in passive, ongoing, not per year, but every single month in cash flow. And you're going to get 90 days access to the commercial mentoring program as another free bonus. Now, Is this because I need to give it to you to twist your arm to get into this? No, because if you're going to be out there flipping properties with Jerry and I, then we're splitting profits on our deals. I want you to have access to every single tool that I can give you. My dog Snickers wants you to have it too. You can hear him cheering you on. In the mentoring program, you have access to my commercial coaches. That's where there's 1 or 2 calls almost every single day of the week, where you can hop on the call and get help going through one of your deals if you need it. So when you're ready to come aboard again, you get the 90-day guarantee. Come check it out. You won't hurt my feelings if you come on board and you say, Peter, Jerry, not a fit. No problem whatsoever. I'd much rather have someone come on board, at least check something out and say, yes, I looked into it, than to have someone sit back and say, oh, gosh, what could be wrong with that? Or is now the right time? Or, gosh, I don't have $997. You know what? If you don't have $997, then you pick up the phone right now and call that phone number, 800-952-9585. And you tell them right there at Tim and Josh's office, you say, I don't have this, but help me figure it out. Put it on a couple different cards or whatever you need to do to find a way to get in on this, because you will never, ever see another opportunity like this. I've never put this together in a package like this before, and I probably never, ever will again. I'm putting so much of my time into flipping these commercial deals right now that even finding the time to carve out and do this training with you was a little bit of a challenge, not a huge challenge, but a little bit of a challenge. And I want you to know that I'm very, very excited about these deals, and I'm very excited about going and doing them with you. Now, you might say, well, gosh, Peter, why are you doing this? I mean, why would you share this? Why don't you just go and do the deals yourself? Well, I made myself a promise. When I bought that duplex back in 1990, I was scared to death. I was physically shaking at the closing. The realtor, his name was Don. I remember he reached over and patted me on the back, and he said, Peter, take a deep breath. It's going to be all right. Now, I was scared to death, not so much that I thought it wouldn't work out. I mean, maybe I was a little worried about that. I knew that other people had made money investing in real estate, and I knew if I just did what they did, then I could be successful at it too. I think the reason I was so scared was that for me, the only thing I could really do with my life is I could work as a mechanic. I didn't have a lot of other choices. I didn't go to college. I didn't have a lot of options. Real estate was my ticket to the dream life that I wanted. And if you're maybe feeling the same way, or you've tried things out before and they haven't worked out, or you're thinking if you get into a big deal that it's going to be intimidating, you know what? It probably is going to be. But we're going to be there right there with you every step of the way, holding your hand as we go through the process, because I know what it's like to get started and be scared to death. So let's go and do some deals. I'm going to train you. I'm going to guide you, and we'll split the profits on a 50-50 basis. Now, that duplex, if I'd taken the easy way out and I'd said, I think I'll wait, or maybe now's not a good time to get into something new, if I'd done that, I wouldn't have made the $142,000 on that property, which, you know what I used that money for? I used that to put my daughters through college. In fact, my oldest, her name is Jamie. And we drive by the property. She'd say, Dad, don't sell that one. That's the one that's going to put me through college. So the important thing is that you get started. I've laid this out where it's an absolute no-brainer. You've got 90 days to come on board and check out everything for yourself, get access to all the materials, start going through the training, get to know the commercial coaches, and start going through that special one-off flipping training that we're going to be going through. Now, here's another property, a 7-unit property that I bought, $72,000 that I made on that. And this is what is worth more than the money. This is myself along with my son in Australia. And commercial properties allow you to do things like take 2-week trips off around to far-off places around the world without having to worry about your properties. And that's the nice thing about flipping properties. You flip the property, you make your money, and you're done with it. You don't have to own it or manage it or any of that. Now, this is Emily Cressy. She got started. She was just out of college when she started working with me. At this point in time, she owns, along with her partners, $84 million worth of commercial properties. Now, Emily's a great gal, and I have a lot of respect for her, but she's just like you and I in a lot of respects. She didn't have a background in real estate when she came on board. We showed her what to do, and she took it the rest of the way and kicked it out of the park. This is my family here on a trip to Hawaii, and I don't share this with you to brag. I want to share it with you to let you know that sometimes some of the most important things in life are things that money can't buy. The time that you have to spend with the people that you care about and love most, you know what? That's something that when you do commercial deals that give you the passive cash flow or the quick flip money to be able to take trips and spend that time, that's something that you're going to be able to treasure forever and ever, that you can't put any kind of a price on.
That's right.
This is a 6-week vacation that we took down in New Mexico. We're sitting here at a little restaurant called Patty's where they have the food for you and they take care of you on the beach. So what's stopping you? You know, Kelly Fabros could have taken the easy way out. She could have said, oh gosh, I'm scared. I'm not going to do anything. But then she would have missed out on that deal where they had those 2 offers that were $9 million more than their purchase price, and that left them with that free and clear land. This is that 322-unit property that I mentioned. Now, this property was bought by one of my students for $6.5 million, and this wasn't an instant flip. He owned the property for 13 months. Then he resold it for $9.5 million and made $3 million turning this property around. This property here, using the same techniques you're going to learn in flipping commercial properties, this student was able to reduce the debt that he owed on this property by $2 million. Can you imagine the value in that? Reducing the amount owed on a property by $2 million? These are the types of deals that I haven't seen in my 20 years of investing. And I don't know how long they're going to be around. I do know that they're here now, and that if you want to make money flipping commercial real estate, right now is the very best time to get going.
Well, Peter, let me jump in real quick. I know that you're limiting this to 10 tonight, and I totally understand why. You know, you can't do this for everybody. But I would like to go ahead quickly, and we've had some orders come in. I just want to congratulate. I think we've had 6 people so far who've signed up, so congratulations to them. I just wanted to point them out. You know, at Do Deals, we like to reward action takers, so thank you guys very much. Awesome. And for everybody else, dodeals.com/Peter. We've had a lot of questions coming in. Some people are just listening via phone and want to know where they can go. dodeals.com/Peter will get you in right now.
Awesome. For those of you who are on board, welcome aboard. Thanks, Josh. And again, it's just a $997 deposit, and that does come back to you in full when we do our first deal together. So it ends up costing you nothing. Plus, you get the 90-day guarantee. Just submit 6 deals, and you'll either make money or you get a prompt, courteous refund. So come on board and check it out. I know you're really going to be excited about it. We're going to go have some fun and make some money together. Now, Josh, I don't know how much of this you realize. You probably do with the investing stuff you do, but wasn't it crazy the way the banks kind of soaked up all that bailout money? Yeah. And they were supposed to lend, but they didn't. I guess they didn't put it in writing. Now
they got it all. They didn't want to share any of it.
Now I think that's one of the reasons they're letting stuff go so cheap. Now if you're listening to this, you're probably not going to get your piece of the bailout unless you do something. I mean, they're not going to come knock on your door. You've got to go and grab one of these properties and put a big paycheck in your pocket. And thanks to the bailout, you can get your piece of it too. We thought that the things we did to bail out the banks was going to turn the economy around. And I'll tell you what, Josh and all of you on the call here, there's nothing better than turning your economy around than by bringing home a big paycheck. Now, I've never, ever seen anything like this. I'm always looking for the best, the fastest way to make money, and I know that you are as well, Josh. In fact, you and Tim are some of the highest regarded people who are able to share with folks the fastest ways to make money and let them know about it. And now, if I can find something that's working better or faster than what I've done before, then I'm going to take the time to do two things. Number one, I'm going to dig into it and find out if it's real or not. Now, you're allowed to do that here at no risk and no cost through the risk-free trial. Yeah, you have to make a $9.97 deposit, but obviously we're not going to let just anyone in the program without getting a deposit to make sure that we've got serious investors who are ready to change their life by coming on board. The second thing, if I'm checking something out, is I'm going to start to apply the things I learned. As I go through applying those, two things are going to happen. First off, I'm going to find out if it's for real or not, just like you will here. Number two, I'm going to find out the other questions and things that I need to know along the way. And that's the neat thing about going through this training is we're going to show you how to do it, and you can be putting your deals together with us as we're guiding you through the process. So you're going to be both making money and learning how to do it as we go through putting deals together. Now, this isn't just a come on board and we'll show you, maybe you can someday use this technique. This is a learn as we go out and do it together process. So you're going to have access to all of the training materials, and this is instant access. These are not physical courses. Please don't expect a big forklift to show up and drop all this stuff off on your front porch. You're going to have instant access to all this on a special members-only website, which allows you to get quickly to all the CDs, the videos, everything that's part of the How to Buy Your First Apartment Building course, the Making Millions with Commercial Property course, and of course, access to how to flip commercial properties as well. Don't forget that you're going to have access to the commercial mentoring program. There's all kinds of stuff in there, the regular coaching calls, the discussion board, lots of other stuff to download. I'm not even going to take the time to go through that here. The most important thing for you right now is to go to dodeals.com/Peter or pick up the phone and call 800-952-9585, and you can come on board. Now, this is not we're going to extend this or we're going to let more people in. This is for the first 10 only. Pick up the phone right now, call 800-952-9585, and I want you to know that I'm looking forward to getting going with you. Absolutely. So let's go out and make some money and have some fun together.
That's awesome. Well, Peter, I'm going to jump in here again. I just want to let everybody know, I think we're up to 8 people now who've got on this so far, and I'm not sure whether I should talk to you about this now or after the call or whatever, but I actually definitely want to get in on this, and I'm not sure whether you're going to count that as one of the first 10 or not, but you can count me in, man. This is awesome, and I cannot wait to get started with it. It's been a great call, tons of content, man, and I love it, and I'm definitely going to do it.
Definitely. We will, you know what, Josh, we will get you and Tim also in, and no, we will not count that against the 10.
That's great.
I know that they're probably, this is probably already full. I don't know if you can tell there or not, but.
Looking here. I'm not exactly sure what the numbers are. I got people waving at me, but I think there's still a couple spots open, so we should still be good. Last count I had was 8, so.
Okay. Josh, to a certain extent, some of the ways I've made money investing in real estate, while they're great, and I wouldn't say, don't do those other things. I mean, if you have to get in a property and work for years on it, I've gotten property before, and I've had to work 4 or 5 years before to make the same amount of money you can make with just one of these commercial flip deals. Now, I'm not going to stop buying those properties. I mean, in the apartment course that I'm giving all of you that jump on board with this, I'm going to show you how to hire on management companies and how to get other people to do all the work so that you don't have to be doing that yourself. Now, obviously, you'll be picking up other types of property as well, and you may want to take some of the money from doing these commercial flips and use that to buy some other properties that maybe you get a great deal on. While, that may not be a flip property, I do know that this opportunity to flip commercial real estate, I've never seen anything available like this before. The lenders, even 6 or 8 months ago, they weren't letting these properties go the way they are now. The way I know that is we were out there making the lowball offers, and basically they told us, no, we've got your offer, we'll let you know. And because we were persistent with it, we were right on top of it. And I don't know what's changed, but they've suddenly started dropping these deals out. And Every deal you make an offer on is not going to happen. You're not going to be able to get every single property you make an offer on where it comes through with a price like that. But when you're going to them saying, hey, I've got all cash, I'm ready to close quickly, here's my offer, you'd be amazed at what kind of a deal you can get on a property. And when you can take that, we're going to show you in the training how you can already have your buyer lined up before you even get into the deal. Now, I'm not going to take the time to get into the particulars of how we do that. You'll learn all of that when we get into the training. But you're not getting a vacant property under contract and then going out looking for a buyer or going and looking for a tenant. These deals, when you put them together, the way we're going to show you how you have all the pieces in place. And yeah, you might have to take a deep breath to walk in and present your offer to the lender or when you talk to the attorneys that's involved. But we'll show you how to do it. We'll tell you what to say. We'll even give you the forms and agreements to use. We'll walk you through the entire process because we have a financial incentive to do so. Now, we're going to split the profits with you on at least your first deal, and we hope that you'll want to split profits on more deals than that. We're also realistic enough to know that once you get a taste of this, you're going to want to be doing these on your own. I mean, yeah, it's great to be able to do your first couple of deals using our money, but with the upside on these deals, it's not going to be too hard for you to attract your own private investors who say, this thing is making $75,000. You can give your investors a great rate of return and maybe a piece of the deal to entice them to do it. We recognize that you're going to want to do that on your own. That's why we've structured this where you're only required to do your first deal with us. And then after that, it's up to you whether you want to do them with us or not. I'm really excited to have all of you on the call here today, and I want you to know I'm honored by your presence, that you even wanted to come take the time to check this out and find out more about it. Right now, you have the chance to do something with what you've just learned over the past hour and put it into gear and start making money right away. The way you do that is you go to dodeals.com/Peter, or pick up the phone and call that phone number, 800-952-9585. The quickest way is to go to the website, dodeals.com/Peter. Don't forget, you do get your $997 deposit back out of our share of the profits on our first deal we do together, so it ends up costing you nothing. Plus, you have my 90-day, $50,000 profit guarantee. So come on board, check it out. If you're not entirely enthralled with everything that you see at any time within the first month, then no questions asked. We're trying to make it even where you can just click a button on the website. We'll make it very, very easy for you if you want to opt out. Just let us know, no problem, and we'll give you your $997 back. Plus, you get the 90 days of free access and mentoring in the commercial program. So, Josh, I've known you and Tim long enough that I know that for some reason, I don't know what it is, you seem to attract a special breed of investor, and I know that the people that you work with are serious about their investing, and I also know that when you tell me, Peter, you need to do something very, very special, I took that to heart. I really tried to put something together here that would be an absolute just, hey, wow, no-brainer. I can't believe that this is real. And, those of you on the call are probably thinking that. I mean, the biggest thought that may be going through your head as you're looking at this right now is, can this really be for real? Is he really going to give us the money? Is he really going to give us access to all those courses? It's really just a $997 deposit, and I really get that back? Can this really be true? Well, the way you find that out, that it's true, and the way that you make it true for yourself is you jump on board. And the way you do that is you go to dodeals.com/Peter, or you pick up the phone and call that number, 800-952-9585. Again, I don't care what it takes or how many credit cards or how you figure it out. Obviously, on the website, you have to use just one card, but call the phone number if you need help with anything else. And we'll get you in, assuming that we've got one of the 10 spots left. I mean, they're probably already gone now. I just want to mention that these are live webinar trainings, and the training with this doesn't require anyone to travel. So it's all done by way of webinar, which is just so powerful and convenient in this world today. Anyways, I just want to clarify that for anyone who might have been wondering. And I want to let all of you here know that I'm very, very excited about this because I see so much stuff going around me, and I hear about so many things. I'm really looking forward to digging in and getting going with you on this.
I tell you what, Peter, you've created an amazing package here. You've thought of everything. All I have to do is a deal that you help me with, that you help me finance, and you give me my investment back. So basically, I learn for free. I get paid to learn, in essence. And that's something not a whole lot of people are doing. I think that speaks to your character and the fact that you're the real deal. You're out there doing these deals, and I know that, Tim knows that, all the people who are paying attention know that. So thank you very much. Man, awesome offer, guys. dodeals.com/Peter if you want to get started immediately. www.dodeals.com/Peter. So check that out. Do you have anything else you want to say today, Peter?
Yeah, just a couple of things, Josh. First off, one question that people sometimes have when they look at something like this is, do I need a real estate license to do this? No, you don't. We're going to show you how to do these, whether you have a real estate license or not. The other thing I want to say is that commercial real estate has changed my life, and I know that it can change yours too. The reason I'm able to take trips around the world and travel and spend the time with my family is because of the profits that commercial real estate has made for me. And I don't know what it is that you want to be doing. I do know that you're here for a reason today, and you're ready for a change, to do something differently in your life. You want to be making some more money, and I know that if you don't do something to make that change happen, then chances are good that nothing is ever going to change. You'll be here still a year from now, hoping and wanting something to change. And if you don't do something different, then nothing's ever going to change. And I've made it extremely easy here for you to affect that change in your life, and I'm excited and honored to have you come on board as part of this group that I'm putting together to go out and flip commercial real estate using our money. And tell you what, for those of you who come on board today, we'll make sure that when you get your deal in place, we get a picture of you. And maybe on some future training, well, I'm probably not going to be doing a future training on how to do this because I don't know how long we're going to be able to make money doing these deals. We've got a 6, 8, maybe a 12-month window of opportunity here. But I just have this picture in my mind. I think if you picture yourself, you can see yourself standing in front of a commercial property. You can imagine what that commercial property would look like. Now, I don't know if it's an apartment building or maybe an office building, but if you kind of look at yourself in that picture, and I want you to see the sky kind of up above the property. Did you notice what the sky looks, what color it is, and whether it's bright? I want you to do just one more thing. I want you to see yourself standing in front of that property, and I want you to see a big smile on yourself. Now I want you to make that picture bigger and brighter and stronger, because that's going to be your future. That's what's going to come true for you. You get what you picture in life. Now's the time for you to create that picture and live it. So if you're ready to get going, right now is the time to do that. For all of you on the call here, I know Josh and Tim, they were kind enough to invite us here. Those of you who maybe haven't heard about us, it's probably because we're not all over the internet peddling and selling courses. We're out there doing deals, making it happen, and that's pretty much a wrap.
Wow,
Josh,
fantastic.
For those of you on the fence, let me just say, ouch, get off, it hurts. Go to dodeals.com/Peter or call that number 800-952-9585.
That's right. Well, thank you very much, Peter. What an amazing call. I think I have 4 pages of notes here. I'm looking through them as we've been going, and I actually jumped on and placed my order while you were talking a couple minutes ago. So my order's in. I'm glad about it, and I'm really excited to get started. And I'm excited for everybody else that has joined you tonight as well, because, like I said, you're the real deal. You truly care about your students and your clients, and I've seen you close deals with them, so I know that it really happens, and I'm just excited to be able to get started with you. I'm excited for everyone else that's able to get started with you too. So guys, do what you can. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your family, your friends. You owe it, to the world to get out there and do something great. And whether it's commercial or apartments or whatever, you've got to find a system that works, and you've got to find someone who cares enough to help you get there. And Peter's that guy. So go to dodeals.com/Peter. Give him a deposit. You're going to get it back. Or call 1-800-952-9585, and you'll thank us later. I promise you that. So. Awesome. Check it out. And Peter, thank you so much for coming here today and giving us your time. I know it's very valuable, so we do truly appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Josh, and thanks to all of you on the call. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and let's go have some fun and make some money.
Sounds great. All right, take care, guys.